Hello, my name is Abe, and welcome back to Monster Train. I don't know, maybe it's the fact that I've actually had a few good runs recently, but I feel like playing some more of this. Feel like I'm on a bit of a winning stretch here, and holy crap, Echo Infusion is just a fantastic card to have. And Immortal Trade is amazing, and Ancient Resonance is, whatever, but I guess it is still technically a spell that you can use to clear floors. But I feel like I've been having a good run lately in Monster Train, having some actual good runs. So why don't we just keep pushing our luck here? Daedalus fell. Rage fell's pretty bad, but not the worst. What is the worst fell? Honestly, I don't know. And Seraph the Patient is very annoying, but we can probably deal with him, especially with a lot of raw health, and then maybe also damage shield from our Umbra secondary to our Wormkin primary, no exiled to be seen. So that means we're gonna have Shade Splitters and, is it Reap? I have not played the normal Wormkin champion in a long time, so this is gonna be a unique experience for me. We'll definitely start with Split Anvil. There's a lot, Ancient Resonance makes everything else free immediately, so it's a good card now. We gotta think. The Decayer and the Corruptor. Let's consider for a moment. Inspire, apply Reap 2 to enemy units. Very useful for a little bit of extra damage after combat is completed. It'll kill a wave of all enemy units, if you have enough inspiration and you have enough charged echoes on the floor. So you have a sweeper. You have to survive, but you have a sweeper. The Corruptor, friendly units having +5 attack per charged echo means that, heck, you could add a lot of Bogflies to your deck, put 2 eggs behind your Corruptor, and then all of a sudden you're able to have a lot of extra damage, maybe even on a multi-strike unit, due to the fact that this scales. So you could have a lot of minion frontline damage, or you could have something that can actually deal with crowds. But since it's been so long since I played as this character, and it's probably been reworked since the last time I played it, I do kind of want to look at the upgrades. I guess we're not going to be able to see the upgrades. Strike, gain 1 charged echo with multi-strike. Dude, this is a very tanky unit. Look at this, 120 HP. Even on the Decayer, he starts with 90 HP and then Inspiration is giving more Reap. I am thinking, what if you can get the Decayer and the Infector? Then you can have Inspire to apply Reap, and then you also gain 1 charged echo per strike. The Spine Chief, it's weird. It's a weird unit because all 3 of these forms kind of synergize with that charged echo mechanic. But also, really quickly, I'm gonna actually look up the Spine Chief on the Monster Train wiki. So I've got the page open. So here are the stats, okay? So the Infector does in fact have a whole bunch of health and 25 damage, roughly. This says +20, +105 off of the base stats. Multi-strike and strike gain. You, the Spine Chief, the Decayer, you do Reap 2, Reap 3, Reap 5, and you have 15 more health than the Infector, so you'll be like a 135 HP unit, so you're very tanky. The Corruptor will eventually go to friendly units have +20 attack per charged echo, which is a lot, because if you have even, let's just say conservatively, 4 charged echoes, it's +80 attack per unit. And if you have multi-strike on anything, then the Corruptor all of a sudden is able to scale your damage. Health-wise though, it has the least amount of health as all 3. I think a tank is good. And I like the Infector. Can we take the Infector? What was our options? Decayer and Corruptor, right. So it's either Inspire, apply Reap, or friendly units have plus attack. I think we can do friendly units have plus attack. You wanna know why? Because we have the ability to actually buff the health of our Corruptor, and so we can buff the attack of our units that are behind him. I like it. So we're gonna go for the Corruptor here. We can buff his health, which allows our other units to survive a little bit longer. And as for the temples, we have Horde, Money, Temple, 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 Money. So we have 4 temples in a row that we can use to meld units, which is nice. I am gonna go for a Divine Horde though. You wanna know why? There's one artifact that I want, and it's the one that makes it so that if we extract, we get energy. We didn't get it. Instead, we get spells, get an extra upgrade slot, which does not seem that important. We could also consume to deal damage. We have no consume, or we could daze enemies when they enter the top floor. That actually seems exactly what we want. Because now we can play our champion on the top floor, and then nothing will ever hit him. He will live forever, and then we can start scaling on that floor. So we'll go for 10 armor for a unit draft. That doesn't seem that bad. But yeah, we're gonna play on the top floor because nothing will be able to attack us on said top floor. So give me a Train Steward, give me a Spine Chief. He's pretty tanky on his own, so he's a pretty good unit. And we're just gonna fracture the crap out of you whenever possible. You're dying as expected. And now unfortunately there's not a lot of room for Shade Splitters. In fact, there's literally no room for any Shade Splitters, so I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But there you go. Let's make sure that you die. And what's going on up here? Pretty much nothing. That being said, we can give you a little bit of addition. You know what? We're actually doing a lot more damage thanks to our freaking ability. For some reason, I didn't even think about that. But we're definitely gaining damage due to having all the charged echoes on the floor. So we took 3 damage, which is really not that bad. Okay, okay. I'm starting to see it. Now, if we Echo Infusion, we will lose damage, so we might just want to let you do your thing. I mean, if I play you, you'll tank a hit, I guess. And then we could like maybe buff the health of a morsel so that the other morsels get eaten, but like it's actually not gonna matter. And I don't really want to play the Echo Infusion because it lowers our damage, which means that he's gonna live to make it to the pyre. So let's just kill him. And we'll play more incants and Echo Infusions and whatnot on the next turn. I think he exploded for like 5, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, we'll definitely play this now. Make sure that you are dead. And we're living. And there's the Ember Drain. Now we're doing even more damage because we can go over maximum capacity with charged echoes. It just goes down at the end of the turn, right? End of the combat. But yeah, okay. You know, we have a lot of possible damage output. Another Echo Infusion, this one with Infusion on it. Like, why not? If we can buff the health of our tanks, we should. And Perils of Production, in theory, if we hold this over, then when we draw it, we'll have not infinite energy, but we will be able to Immortal Trade whenever the cards show up, so we can have Lifesteal Infinity. So if we do get Perils of Production on holdover, it's infinite energy, essentially. So I think we should take it. As for units, oh god. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I think you probably go Shadow Siege, because if you can make this, if you can play this unit, you're in for a good time. And in fact, you don't even have to play the unit. You could just put the unit in another unit and either put it on its own floor or ascend it or do whatever the heck you want. Like, there's plenty of options here. Like, yeah, we could get Crucible Collector and Crucible Warden, but I think you go Shadow Siege just in case you can do something with it. It's a crafting material, and now I have it. You know, we don't know what we're gonna do with it, but you never know what you can do with it. And holdover on Echo Infusion, holdover on Perils of Production, always gonna be useful. Might even be more useful than an Umbra unit, although certain Umbra units are amazing. What Umbra units exist? All right, there's like +6/+6 at the end of turn with the freaking the freaking, whatchamacall, morsel makers. So basically, I mean, you could get an alloyed construct. Oh my god, an alloyed construct on his own floor plus 60, plus 60? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. If we take, if we take capacity twice, we could put the alloyed construct on the floor with our champion, but they won't be able to actually gorge at all. But they could function as a tank and then get damage bonuses from our champion. We want a lot of little units on the floor with our champion, though. That's the thing. Weirdly enough, morsel makers are pretty good with our champion because the morsels that are summoned will be able to attack. But maybe not on the top floor versus the last divinity. Basically, I'm just thinking if I want spells or units right now. And honestly, I don't really know what I would prefer. We do want to get units so that we can actually, you know, have the opportunity to meld them in the future. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, we can't even play our Shadow Siege, and I don't really know what we're getting out of the Umbra. I kind of just want to get like holdover. Remove consume is essentially pointless, so we'll re-roll to see what we get. Well, we can afford an Ember Stone on something. Not that we care. So we'll re-roll. We get Permafrost. I mean, a permafrosted immortal trade is playable as soon as you get Perils of Production. The problem is the Ember Drain. If you can get this on holdover, you can play Immortal Trade. And heck, just having Immortal Trade means that you can always play it right before you actually hit Relentless. So it's not a very good spell, but I'll take it. And I don't really even think that you want to make anything cheaper. Like, I think we're actually set as far as that goes. I think I'm just gonna go. No, I'm gonna go for another artifact, because again, if we find, yes, this is exactly what we want. If we find an artifact that gives us the infusion on playing an extraction, we'll be in love with life. So these units, they're gonna be doing like 15 damage at the beginning of combat. It doesn't matter because we can buff the health of our champion. This is just kind of a freebie. They're all dazed anyways. I actually forgot about that. And they might even make it up, but we can actually, we'll be fine because the morsels will get attack, which means that they're going to do a lot of damage on their own, which is a little amusing. I will buff your health. It doesn't matter if we get lower damage on this turn. You have 19 damage and lifesteal. You're pretty much set, dude. If these guys hit for 1 damage, you know what? The collector's gonna live for a turn. We could let it sit there and live. But I'd rather take 1 damage on the pyre and get you killed this turn so that I can kill you on the next turn, honestly. And I have to also admit that train stewards are interesting, but if we play morsels, the morsels will do damage on the turn that we play them, and we'll have 2 morsels as opposed to 1 train steward. This is a weird situation where, like, I think the best option is to just, like, play 2 train stewards, and then I don't really want to lower your infusion level on that floor, but I'm going to. We need more units, clearly, but, like, it's early. You know, I think we have to play a unit. Oh, but we're so likely to get the Shade Splitters. We can still play them on the top floor. I mean, you sweet, but you're not going to attack on the top floor anyways. If you hit the pyre for 2, I really don't care. I think we just end turn. Really what we need is card draw. We're taking a tiny bit of pyre damage over and over again, but it's really not that bad. At least you're dying, but like, are you looking at this? This is not great. You're taking 21, you're taking 36. I mean, that's fine. You're gonna hit the pyre maybe twice. We're down to 17 HP, which admittedly is a little scary, just saying, but it's okay. I mean, we can gain energy. then play this, then end turn. You do 7 damage. I mean, you're gonna die. There's actually nothing that you can do. We can even gorge on a morsel and then have a morsel do 35 damage once and then give you 4 lifesteal. So our champion is doing all the work for us. We took 15 damage, which is not that bad. We do need some way of getting better minions out, multi-strike sweep, and we gotta do that kind of quickly. We should have maybe gone for unit upgrades first, even though the spell upgrades seem kind of more interesting. I don't think we need another Echo Infusion. An infused extract 2 deal 50 damage is interesting, but you know, one good damage spell I'll take. Got another Perils of Production, huh? And a Space Prism, which means we can actually play morsels on the top floor. I'm gonna take Space Prism, even though, you know, a targeted 3 damage spell is interesting. Oh, thank God. Good steward units, yes. That means we will live the next combat, I think. I think we gotta go Umbra unit this time. Gorge abilities trigger an additional time. At the start of battle, add 2 charged echoes to each floor. I mean, if we get a good Gorger, then Fossilized Fangs is wonderful, but having 2 charged echoes means that we can immediately start with the bonus damage from our champion. But we can scale that pretty quickly, and we're gonna play him on the top floor in almost every combat because everything gets dazed. So I think we will go for better gorging, and then maybe we can build a gorge floor. I mean, Shadow Eater. Gorge restore 10 health. I'm thinking about this, of course. Plus 2 capacity. If we put that on the Crucible Warden, they can at least live, but like, we can still play morsels on the same floor with them. But the Shadow Eater would be a sweeper. We don't have a sweeper. Shadow Eater can gorge now, and it gorges twice, and we can make it super large, especially if we have like a miniaturization concealed caverns event, which would be perfect right about now. This is the person. I forget her name. She's very tall. Deal 6 damage to enemy units 2 times. On Slay, get a capacity. I mean, it's really good, and then we'll also get her. Hitting those birds 5 times. So play the card 5 times and we'll get another unit, and then maybe we can buff her up. I forget what she does. I don't think I've ever actually had her as a unit before, but we could like meld her into something, or meld Shadow Siege into her. Have I ever seen her even? Like, is she in the logbook? She would be like a colorless unit. Heph the Blacksmith. Trample, 50-50. Resolve, add 1 capacity to this floor. So we can make her gorge. What's her unit essence? 30-30 plus 2 in trample. Okay, we could also make 1 unit insanely large, but there's no room for morsels. I think we want Heph. We want to give her like freaking multi-strike. Oh, she has -3 capacity. Is she normally a 3 pip or is she a 1 pip? Because if she's a 1 pip, then we can put Shadow Siege on top of her. What is her unit essence? +2 in trample, resolve, add 1 capacity to this floor. Dude, I gotta look it up. Monster Train Unit Heph. So, okay, it says, therefore this unit, practically speaking, has 3 capacity. So she doesn't go down to 1, her capacity is actually 3, okay. But still, because she buffs the capacity of a floor, we can still put her on a floor, maybe with the Spine Chief, and then actually like start playing morsels, play other units up there. Like, we can have 1 floor of stuff. which I think is kind of cool. Anyway, Spine Chief needs to get played, but let's play a Morsel first. Even though we're not playing the Shadow Eater, I do want to just have the Ember Drain go away. And then we could play Shadow Eater at the bottom, but I'd rather play it here, just because if I play it here, I can gorge it on the next turn and then kill these units when their rage starts going down. If you live. Okay, you are gonna live. A little risky, but... So you gorged twice, which is great. That's a freebie. Immortal Trade is not actually frosty, at least not that one. You always get these. You basically always get generic morsels because of your whole explosion thing. We're gonna keep bumping the fracture on you. Is anyone gonna live moving up? You're gonna live moving up, but like you're not gonna live that long moving up. Card draw seems like it might be kind of nice here so that we could actually get to the good spells faster. We have a lot of good spells, technically. So we have maximum charged echoes up here, but we're gonna extract one. Let's actually do that with the fracture, that way we actually kill that unit. And then we might as well start building up charged echoes on like this floor so we can do 4 damage to him. You're gonna eat this. You're gonna go out there and then actually live, which is absurd. I guess you do have damage shield 5, I think. And I'm looking at the top floor and I'm like, are these units gonna actually like live? What happened? What? Hold on, I gotta look at my deck. Deal 6 damage to enemy units 2 times. Oh, it just hits them all. It's not plink. It just hits all units, and then we get a massive capacity bonus. Yo, capacity is, I don't think it's gonna be a problem on this run. Like, holy heck, are you seeing this? We have 3 capacity for morsels now, and I can play this up here to get even more capacity. This is pretty interesting. Now, unfortunately, you are gonna make it up to the pyre, but at least you're only gonna hit it once. We really need units, and they've gotta come fast. Yeah, no, well, not this one. Other units, please. You're dying immediately. I mean, with damage shield 4, I think we just play this here. Yeah, now you're taking 200 damage. We could extract to kill this frontline unit. Now you're taking 195. You're actually taking less damage. I know that did purge 1 damage shield, but I thought it would give us like more value than that. Immortal Trade, we're just gonna hold on to this forever, and this doesn't do any damage. I guess maybe it lowered the reap damage or something. I feel like we kind of lost out on that transaction though. So you do deal damage. It's fantastic. 52 damage. 56 damage. 72 damage. 84 damage. 309 damage, and then honestly, I figured that would kill you. Okay, I don't know what we're gonna do. Shroud Spike. I mean, this doubles with Fossilized Fang. Wretch does return morsels back to her hand, but it might not be enough. Blazing Bolts is just like one of the better damage spells in the game, but it's so hard to play early because you have to actually play it multiple times for it to start scaling, because eventually it does 30 damage to 4 units. But I do like a Shroud Spike so we can get a lot of gorging happening. On the Shadow Eater, that's nice, and on any other unit that we have being gorged, it's good. Good old Wingmaker could be upgraded pretty easily. And we can even just put this on the Spine Chief and, you know, gorge lifesteal, and then he'll stay alive forever. But the thing is, this doesn't really help us from the perspective of killing bigger units, with the exception of Shadow Eater just exploding and doing a whole bunch of damage because of the fact that we have a whole bunch of energy on the Shroud Spike. Blazing Bolts is damage, and it will make other cards free, but so will Shroud Spike. But you know what? Give me Like, a couple of spells that just do damage are fine. Give me Blazing Bolts. And I gotta admit, Alloyed Construct is tempting. Inert gain multi-strike and Gorge gain fuel 1. I'm like, okay, if we put Shadow Siege into you. No, you're gonna be too big. Shadow Siege will give you what, +2? +2. There will be room for one morsel on your floor that gives you fuel. I mean, it's a good unit, and we could always just put this in another unit, but the fact is that the target of this would have to gorge. But so I'm still looking at maybe Heph in the future, which is, what was it? It was like a 60, no, it was like a 50-50. I mean, I guess I can literally just look at it again. Heph was a 50-53 capacity unit. What does Shadow Eater give me? Hold on, give me Umbra. Gorge, restore 10 health. We could put that on like a Heph or something. Oh, but it doesn't deal damage to other units. I see. 30-30 +2 and trample. If you put this on someone else. 30-30 +2 and trample. I don't want to put Heph in something else because of the fact that we have that resolve bonus. I want that to be able to be, played. So we probably do want to put like a Shadow Siege inside of her and then maybe try to double up on her capacity. 5 capacity is way too much for a floor though. That being said, like in theory we could play her on the top floor, but not before we play the Spine Chief. We don't have the capacity for it. If we have an Ascend, we could, but we don't have Ascend in this, in either of these two colors. Is she gonna go on her own floor? She could go behind the Shadow Eater. But not before we play the Shadow Eater. I just don't know how we're gonna play the unit. The unit is too big. But still fun. So ignore her. What is the best unit for us? Nothing. Because Shadow Eater is gonna go on their own floor. And they're gonna just always explode and do damage. And the Alloyed Construct isn't gonna be able to gorge as much as we would like. First of Kin is way too expensive and big of a unit. Crucible Warden is nice. We could put a Warden inside of a Shadow Eater so that they can live for a few turns. But, yeah, I mean, I think we're just gonna have Heph. They do have Trample, so a multi-strike on him is actually, like, pretty decent. It's super weird, but, like, I don't see any of these units being that useful. If we can get Heph out there, good old Wingmaker is enough to give us the capacity we need on the floor, even if we put a Shadow Siege inside of her. And then Shadow Eater on their own is just gonna be down on a floor, exploding and doing damage. So I don't see room for any other unit. I really don't. This is a weird one, but like, you take nothing. I know I thought about that for quite a while, but I think that is the correct option here. And now for this, I also don't really think you need capacity, because Heph will make capacity on her floor every turn. Shadow Eater already has some capacity. We have a Space Prism we can toss out there if we need it. Capacity is gonna be a problem, but hopefully not forever. So we either go energy or draw. With energy, Blazing Bolt and Ancient Resonance will make other cards free, and we have low-cost cards that we can play. So I think you go draw. Makes more cards free with the Anvil. Oh, you. Replace with a better artifact later. Deal 4 damage to friendly units. So this is basically, this gets replaced by heal. Heal, X damage to friendly units every turn. Enemy units enter with damage shield 1. This gets replaced by probably enemies take damage every turn. And then when a non-champion unit dies, it's purged. Gets replaced with, dude, I don't know what, but I can't really take any of these. I can't afford to lose any units. I can't afford enemies to enter with damage shield. Although maybe we could. because of Shadow Eater, and he could just explode everything. Hold on. I'm gonna do another little search here. Monster Train concealed caverns, because I don't know what you get, Malika. I do not know what you would give me. So this one gives me damage spells Pierce. And this one just gives you endless on all units. Damage spells Pierce. You have to keep this over 2 combats, I think. What combats are coming up? 2 regular combats. So if we give him damage shield and then live, we'll get piercing on our damage spells, which means it's only blazing bolts and ancient resonance. That's not worth it. No, we're taking nothing out of these. This is a horrible set of choices for us. Wormkin banner units. Let's check out Wormkin banner units, which could give us Wormkin units. Probably an egg, because it seems like we're getting a lot of eggs. Some eggs are pretty good on our champion, but they will eat up the charged echoes, unfortunately. Keeper of Echoes, Kinho's Carapace. Glug Cider is always like the weird one. I actually don't think we need any of these units. I'd rather go for like removal. And then if we are going to upgrade a card, we could upgrade Blazing Bolts, because again, it makes everything else free when you play it, which is nice. Could double up on the Shadow Siege. Probably not that good of an idea though. We're just gonna buff the health of Shadow Eater because he heals significantly. Yeah, I think we do want to get like another Blazing Bolts because of the fact that it makes everything else free when you draw it, basically. The Pyre health is also nice. And you know what? We could meld a unit and then dupe. What unit would we meld? I mean, we only really have Shadow Siege. Are we gonna put Shadow Siege inside of Shadow Eater? No. I hate to say it, but we're still kind of just waiting on Heph. We could double up on the Wingmaker, but dealing 6 damage to enemy units 2 times is not really that good of a benefit unless you can really buff the crap out of that spell. So, which, you know what? Literally we could do. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna go this path. We're gonna take a moment. Friendly units gain attack, and then you have strike. Let's just keep buffing Corruptor level 2 here. I got a plan. Intrinsic, upgrade a spell to cost -2. Well, now it would be, we wouldn't need to make anything else free. This is also like a very horrible draw. I don't really care about making something -2, and I don't really care about making something intrinsic because we don't really have spells that have to be played early. Yeah, this is a like extrememely bad pact. What the heck do you duplicate then? Unupgraded spells? I mean, I guess in theory, good old Wingmaker, it's damage. We have no other card that does damage, so sure, why not? Like, I don't know. I'm struggling here, clearly. Armor 15. Good old Wingmaker is not gonna be able to get any kills, but it will still count as being played, I think. Armor 15. For 150 gold, it might be worth it. I imagine we'll take damage, but like if we survive, it'll probably be worth it. And we can handle the boss, I think. I don't think he's gonna be too big of a problem. I don't see a point in starting down here, unfortunately, so we're gonna do the thing that we normally do and kind of just start up here. The morsel doesn't die, and we get more echoes on the floor, so I'm gonna do that. A Shadow Eater does need to get played, and we might as well play him here. Well, I'd rather have more capacity for morsels, but I do want to kill you. 2 times, that won't do it. And we gotta play morsels anyways. And these units are doing damage. You know, we can do it here. It's not perfect, but it'll explode twice. As long as we can play a couple of morsels every turn, we might be able to kill these guys moving up, but it is gonna be a little tricky. I do think we want capacity here, though. Even though we don't have morsels, but bear with me. Dude, I don't know. This is gonna be like real sketch. Cause like, you're not even close to dying. You're healing everyone. I'd rather you didn't, but what are we gonna do about that? Good old Wingmaker can do some damage, but it's not gonna be enough. Maybe it will actually. Maybe we should have played that morsel up here, because I think with this it would have actually gotten some kills. I mean, we're not going to kill everything, I think, but I think we do play this here. We are gonna kill you. That's good enough, honestly. That's good enough. This will lower our damage. This will increase our damage. Not having upgraded any of our units up to this point is, I mean, it's scary. It's scary as heck. Clearly, I'm scared. I'm very scared. I mean, these units they're gonna make it up. They're gonna smack us. And I'm not killing them at all. It's not even really the armor. Like, maybe we would have been able to stop a couple of units. It's just the fact that we have no good damage right now at all. Surprisingly, that worked. You're gonna just make it up, though. I do think we needed like a train steward out for more damage, and then you might as well just go out to die, except you're not going to die. We'll have less energy next turn, but it's okay. This will make everything free, so we definitely play Ancient Resonance. Does quite a bit of damage to enemy units, I gotta admit. Two enemies are dying, which is like way better than I thought it would be. And I might be able to actually kill you, although I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because this will apply Reap 2. This will make the Reap do barely not enough damage, but you're still almost dead. This makes us do less damage, but this will make us do more damage again. You kill him, you kill him. You're doing nothing. I can't really play Perils of Production without it being holdover. Man, this would be so much different if we had holdover on this. But I think we do. We probably don't need to extract. We could extract here on this turn, and then, you know, just do damage. Our Pyro will take 8. Ugh. He did not seem to get. Oh, you know what? If they're dazed, they don't get stronger when they move up a floor. That actually helps me a lot. Do we have anything that costs 3? Not yet. So we can at least kill another unit, so our Pyre is gonna only take 8 times 2, I think. We just play a little bit of a Reap. Taking 10. Pyre's only gonna take 1 hit, which is honestly just extraordinarily surprising. I'm extraordinarily surprised. Yo, we could have played Shadow Siege, although we wouldn't have had a place to put it at all, but we could have played it. Can't extract? You can extract here. Just live for as long as possible, dude. Took 8 damage. To get the gold, it might be worth it, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I like this just to kill you. You don't sweep, so this will do damage and keep us alive for a little bit longer. You need to live as long as possible. We can't extract here, that's fine. Train Steward is not playable. With Lifesteal, I think we're like completely in the clear. It's just, it's an annoying fight. It's an annoying fight, okay? Okay? Anyways, there's a better Blazing Bolts. There's another Wingmaker. Hit you with the Fracture, hit you with the Shade, hit you with the Shade, hit you with the Shade. Might as well give us, you know, 1 more stack of Lifesteal and then another 4 stacks of Lifesteal. Like, once we hit the boss wave, it was easy, but like, we gotta get some multi-strike on thin units that can fit. Random spells from the discard to your hand and apply consume. Unfortunately, they're not free. Getting energy per... You know, in theory, we could play Shadow Siege with this, which is kind of hilarious. I mean, in theory, we could play Shadow Siege with like any of our... we could play it with this, we could play it with the holdover on Perils of Production if we can get it on the same turn. It's just funny enough to maybe work, and we have capacity that we might be able to play with it, which I think is just funny. And Cave-In is honestly a fantastic card. As is Grovel. But I like Cave-In, because it means that we can play everything on the top floor and then just descend it down to the middle floor, which means that we can have our cake and eat it too. Shadow Eater can be in the front, our tank champion can be behind them. This being on holdover is insane. I'm taking a lot of like possible spells. Yes, please come in. You know, things that if we could upgrade them, they could be amazing, but we have to upgrade them and make them amazing first. But let's see what we get. Plus 30 magic power. Would have loved to have put this in the freaking Wingmaker first. It's still a very good target though. Large stone. Well, that's just silly. You don't actually get any larger. Health does need to go on the Shadow Eater, probably more than anything else. Really, we want multi-strike on Heph. Yeah. Yeah, so you get the HP. If we don't meld Shadow Siege and we find a way to play it, in theory we could make this a unit that we can play. We have like so much money. I kind of feel like just putting it here just in case, but if we're at a meld right now, which means we're going to meld. So we probably don't need it, because we're gonna put you in Heph, and Heph is gonna raise capacity on a floor. It's gonna take a long time, but that is what we're gonna do. So reroll. We get endless. This is not what we wanted. It's like actually pretty much trash. But hey, you have 100 HP now. And I think we just have to accept that Heph, we need to be able to play the unit. So now we have a big unit who can be played. 30 magic power. I got to admit, this seems pretty decent. So does Blazing Bolts, because it does 60 damage to random enemy units, but to get capacity for free is really good. Even making it intrinsic so we can play it on like the bottom floor in turn 1 is interesting, but the bottom floor, who cares? So we're going like a little heavy in pack shards and everything, but I think we're okay with it, and there's another unit upgrade coming up. You know what, let's take a moment to do some purging. I'll purge like 2 spells, and by spells I mean train stewards. I'll even do another one. And then we'll move on. I'm still just like utterly confused as to like the whole run, but we're gonna try it. Spikes 4. If we take this, our morsels will probably die, but I'm gonna do it because I really don't care about the morsels that much right now. Like the Shadow Eater, he doesn't need him to live. I do like this. In fact, I kind of like this a lot. Gain 1 energy per charged echo. We could play a lot of things on this floor kind of immediately. I like it. I actually do like it. Are we gonna play Spine Chief at the top? We're gonna play Spine Chief here because if we play Heph here, we can descend her down here and then actually have like a good middle floor. Maybe even descend everything to the bottom, but then we won't have the capacity to play morsels. So you're gonna get played here. No, we're gonna play the Shade Splitters first, because 2 Shade Splitters and a Forgotten Trade is a refund. So, Shade, Shade, Gain Energy, Spine Chief, Wing. And we got a lot of capacity here for morsels, and we're just gonna put down both of these morsels because they just explode. And we also, no, we only get 1 energy out of the morsel. I thought we would get 2 thanks to Gorge, but it's not how that works. So Heph is totally playable up here, and then we can descend her later. This is just very useful. We could have, you know, we could actually play her on the bottom floor immediately. I got to admit, that sounds like a pretty damn good idea. And then we're gonna have a lot of extra capacity on this floor to play more morsels. And we have a tank in front of Heph, who's a 110 trample. And theoretically, if we give her multi-strike, that's a very large amount of damage being done. I think I wanna buff you. I think I want to ensure your death. And then we can also kill you next turn because you're dazed on this turn. That does mean you're dead. So there we go. Heph is just gonna keep building this floor, which is pretty big, by the way. And this will make everything free, so there's literally no reason not to play this card. I mean, you know what? In theory, we could play a Shade Splitter, then play Ancient Synergy to do like 5 additional damage, but these units are all gonna die to the explosion from Shadow Eater anyways. So I'm just gonna play this, and then we'll play you. Our champion is not really doing that much, but eventually we can descend the champion onto the Heph floor. It'll take a little while, but it's you know, totally possible, plausible. We can just like reap you a bit. And then all the units down here are gonna do more damage, including the morsels that we have. And if we can make that Cave-In holdover, we can do this like literally every turn. Cave-In is gonna be next turn, and there's gonna be capacity. This is so weird. I'm noticing what we need is morsel generation right now. We have a big problem with that. So that's 6 reap damage. We can't get any more reap damage, and it looks like units might start making it up slightly, which is a little scary. It could give you 6 rage, fantastic. It's a weird one, but I do not think you need Echo Infusion. We have 5 energy on this turn, and I don't know what to do with it, because I don't really want to Echo Infuse to lower the HP of the Quill Marksman. Because at the very least, he'll die to Reap on the next turn, and his friend is probably gonna die too. So yeah, I just, end turn. Bit of a weird one, but. So there's Cave-In. So we definitely can play Cave-In, and we're gonna play everything because we have a Blazing Bolts in hand. So we start with the Blazing Bolts. Now it's a max level Blazing Bolts, I think. We are going to cave everything in, get even more capacity on this floor, apply some Reap. I mean, we do have one hell of a floor and an Immortal Trade. Oh, which is not gonna work. We should have played it last turn. Oh no. You know what? No, we still got it. It's just gonna be really tricky. We start with Ancient Synergy to make everything free. Then we play a Shade Splitter, and we might as well play it here. We play you. You're gonna get gorged and eaten, and now you're dead. And to be honest with you, Stealth 9, 14, you have 78 HP. So what's 78 divided by 14? Might as well play the train steward too, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking, where do you play Immortal Trade? I think you play it on Heph. Yeah, now she's living. But our tank did the tank job of living for long enough, so it worked. We get Sinner's Salve, so free blights. Might as well take it. Extract 3, apply melee weakness 3. Consume, gain energy. Infuse, extract 3, draw 3, and apply consume. Extract 3, apply melee weakness 3. I mean, to be able to like quadruple the damage you do to one target could be really nice for the trample, because I think that means that the trample damage will just get multiplied and then pass through to the next unit. Really, unit upgrades are what we want next. Hopefully a multi-strike. That would be nice. Yeah, we could double her and then like put 2 of her on the same floor. That would be funny. Cave-In's gotta be holdover at some point. It's playable with Split Anvil, because it'll make everything else free, and if we have Blazing Bolts, it'll make it free. But I don't think we need anything else right now. I think I kind of don't want to add more. Yeah, I will say Force Contamination is interesting due to the fact that it might be able to multiply the damage, but to be honest with you, it's starting to get kind of difficult to infuse all of the floors. So I think I'm just gonna skip that, and damage shield 1, add morsels to your hand. Doesn't seem that important, does it? Not for 2 energy, although the damage shield is nice. And you know what? We do need another way of getting morsels. I was just talking about this. I just kicked my desk, ignore the sound. I do think we need, I think we need upgrades. Like, we critically need upgrades, and that's exactly the upgrade that we wanted. And essentially, there's no other upgrades that we care about. But I think I will buff like 1 train steward just so that we have something that gets hit by the floor, because we have a lot of units on our floors. -2 or intrinsic. I mean, a -2 on Grovel's kind of nice. An intrinsic on Space Prism gives us 6 capacity on a floor of our choosing. It doesn't seem that important. We don't really need to sack units. Not anymore anyways. Shadow Eater doesn't even have anything inside of him. What's coming up? A temple and money. We can get to 100 on pack shards. That should not be a big problem. Cheaper spells is nice though, like a cheap Cave-In. If we could make it holdover. I mean, we do need to go like spell upgrade next. There is a spell upgrade here, and there is a spell upgrade with card removal, so we will have to take pack shards between here and there, but I feel like I need to upgrade these spells now. We gotta get holdover on some of these, and then double them, but we actually cannot double them if we go this path, which is honestly fair. Are we gonna be, I mean, we could double up on Heph. I haven't even like really thought about that, but we could. You know what, if we get holdover, we can double up the Cave-In. Oh, but then we won't be doubling up on Heph. We could still double up on the Cave-In. And we probably will take card draw after this, by the way. So for right now, I'm just gonna take nothing and we're gonna go. I mean, there are some turns where we have like 5 energy, you know? We don't really need more energy. Which fell was this, by the way? Rage. I gotta pay more attention, by the way, to the mini bosses, because I got surprised by that stealth. And if I had realized it was stealth, I would have played the lifesteal in the previous turn, but I gotta be more careful about that type of stuff because that's very important. So, are we okay not playing Heph? We kinda need to play Heph. We kinda need to play Shadow Eater. We kinda need to play everything, and we don't have the energy for it. Grovel will make Fracture free, but then we won't have the energy for literally anything else. We don't need Spine Chief. but like, what's the most important unit? It's probably Heph, even if they're on the top floor. Eventually, we'll be able to play all of our other units up here because of the fact that we'll have the capacity. So I think we just go Heph immediately, and then we play nothing else. I know this is a very weird one, but like, I honestly think we just play nothing else on that floor because now we have a place to play morsels, and eventually we'll have the capacity to play a lot of things up there. Honestly, I like killing units, so I'm just gonna play this down here. I'll start the charged echo process up here. I will give you more HP. 1 lifesteal is fine. Nothing's making it past you, at least on this combat. And we will just keep buffing up the capacity up here. I mean, literally nothing can get you because of the days, which is nice. Although now that I think about it, cave-in means we're not gonna get value from that, but that's a very like minor issue, isn't it? I literally do not care about any other floor, so just play Blazing Bolts, play this for the hell of it. Might as well extract and then don't even play Perils, because it's not holdover, means we can't play it. But that's not a priority target for holdover really right now. We're not gonna shuffle anytime soon, so a Train Steward is fine. Because once we play our champion, the Train Steward is pretty good value. We do have another good old Wingmaker, the good one, coming up next turn. That means that this Quill Marksman will give us 1 more capacity. So yeah, I mean, you know, we don't need to play. We need to play other units. So screw you, buddy, screw you. Instead, give you more HP. Give you a Reap, give you a Reap. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm trying to think, like, is there any way I can get good old Wingmaker to kill you on the next floor if I descend you here? But even if I play this, I'll descend as well, which is not ideal, so. Yeah, I'm just gonna accept that we're gonna get 1 capacity here, and that's fine. We're gonna keep getting morsels. We might as well get some incanting going on here. I mean, maybe we literally need nothing beyond Heph, but we need more damage because 200 damage is not enough. We need 600 damage at a minimum when we get to the final boss. I can't believe that's still not enough to get some kills. I mean, it's still more damage on Fell, but it's just annoying. I mean, admittedly, we've got a lot of capacity here. Now we just gotta get those units again that are basically just tanks for her. So there we go. We finally got a Shadow Eater out now, which we should Shade Split so we get the energy next turn. Nothing is gonna sweep on this floor. Now everything's dying. You love to see it. We can extract. Immortal Trade in our back pocket. Maybe we can buff that on Fell, maybe we can buff that on the tank in front. You know, doesn't matter, doesn't really care that much, I think. This is actually a good play. Spine Chief should probably tank for Heph, I think. Her damage output is the most important thing here. Okay, we got some morsels. And you know what, with Spine Chief, Shadow Eater has damage, so the Immortal Trade lifesteal is actually pretty useful, isn't it? Oh. What a weird run. Hey, can finally play Perils of Production. I mean, we have a ton of, now Heph is, well, 300 damage, which is still pretty good. But like, we actually have the capability now to just like absolutely slaughter. It just takes a long time to get to this point. I mean, look at this. This is this was an easy fight. It's a 400 damage Heph. We just gotta make sure we can play the units on turn 1, which basically means it's impossible. Infused, extract 6, apply 6/6/6. This is another way that you can deal with those super tanky units. It's a perfect card. And we're going draw. We need draw. If we come across the same situation that we literally just had, we're gonna do the same thing we just did, and we have to make sure that Heph can survive. The 666 card allows us to kill the mini bosses that move up. This is a weird run and a weird deck, but I like what we have, strangely enough. Now we could put 2 Hephs on the same floor. We could go left, remove cards, go for an upgrade, go for a cavern, and then go for spell upgrades next. We don't need unit upgrades. We do need spell upgrades, but honestly, 2 Hephs might be good enough. My thinking is that if you can Heph once and then wait a couple of turns, you could Heph again. Or maybe, you know what you would do is you would Heph, play Heph on another floor, and then you would actually be able to descend her. That would be the ideal. Or like good old Wingmaker into a Heph. So I think we will go left and then just dupe her, like immediately. This is a very strange play, but I do think it's a good play. As for cards, we don't really need all of these Echo Infusions, do we? Because we're not actually, like, we already have 100 HP on units, we have healing on our units, we have lifesteal. I really don't think that Echo Infusions are the way to go here. I'm kind of just not playing them when they show up, and they're costing us a lot of infusion. I'd rather have Shade Splitters. We probably don't need the Reaps, so you know what? I'll get rid of the 2 Reaps. We'll check out the Cavern. Maybe we'll get lucky and get a 1-pip Heph. We can purge a card. We're gonna purge a card, and we're gonna purge another Reaper, I think. We should purge like 1 Echo Infusion, just to thin up the deck as much as possible. I like that, and then, you know, I think we will probably still dupe. Plus magic power. I mean, I really like this. I really do. It's a 72 damage floor wipe. No. Intrinsic, it actually still makes sense on Space Prism. You wanna know why? Because it means we can play 2 Hephs without needing Cave-In. We can play a Heph on the top, we can play a Heph on the middle, and then if we don't get the Cave-In, we still have the ability to play them where we want. So I will make the Space Prism intrinsic. It basically gives us the capacity on the middle floor that we need, and I am gonna do Heph. So we have 2 Hephs, 110 pack shards. This is about where we wanna be anyways. We will just give units more damage because the damage is important on our Heph, and we're gonna see what happens. Our champion, weirdly enough, not gonna be played in many situations. Non-boss enemy units restore all health when they move up a floor. I'm gonna turn this on because I think we can actually kill him. Darkwing, how much HP do you have? How much HP do you have on your buff? Yes, I am looking it up. It says 240. I mean, right now, Heph deals 220. We can probably get an extra little bit of damage just through minions and whatnot. So if they get buffed, we can possibly still kill them. And we've got trample, and if we cave in on 1 floor, they're all dead anyways. This might get us like totally killed, but I have multiple spells in the deck that can hit units, and all we need to do is just play a Heph, and then they're all dead. Actually, I didn't see how much health you would have, but still, Space Prism? You know, we might want to go on the bottom because the good old Wingmaker is going to give us 3 capacity. We can play Shadow Eater immediately, or Spine Chief. And I got to admit, Spine Chief is probably the best bet here because Spine Chief allows us to buff the damage of Heph, and we can probably keep this unit alive even if we have to play like a Mortal Trade on them. I mean, this is +3 capacity immediately, and the floor is dead, and we have a space prism. So it's going to be +4 capacity. It'll be 9 capacity, 5 on the next turn. No, we should probably play a space prism here to play a Heph to descend. Okay, so we'll do that. But I guess we're not going to play Shadow Eater. We're going to rely on Heph to sweep. This might be a horrible play because we could always just start up here and then do the thing that we were talking about doing, but it means we won't be able to play the other units of ours. Let's try it and see how it works. So we got a lot of floor capacity, Heph and the Spine Chief. And we're gonna play a Space Prism here so that we can play Heph on that floor and then descend her. You I really don't care about. So I didn't think about this scenario. Cave-in is too expensive, so we're gonna have to make it cheaper next floor. But everything's dying, and you didn't even get, buffed, which is nice. But we'll still play Heph here. We might not need to play Heph if we can't descend her. Man, do I have anything that gives me energy? I don't. Man, that is kind of a blow. I could play her up here as like a final last ditch unit, but I'd still rather play her here. A Fracture is not quite gonna get a kill. We could just hope for something on like a future turn, I suppose. This is a little unfortunate, but I think the fight's gonna go on long enough that this is okay. We're gonna play Heph. ×2. We are going to... You're taking 51 damage, my God. We're gonna give us more energy next turn. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually think because we give ourselves energy, we give ourselves the Ember Drain to keep that unit alive. It's not a lot of healing per turn, but it's enough. We're taking 54, which is a lot, but this also wipes the entire floor, which is good, and what we're going to do. We also have Perils of Production, which means this is actually gonna be a totally fine, amazing, wonderful turn, and it's not gonna be bad at all, trust me. The Morsel goes out, the Morsel gets Perils of Production. We have 4 energy, we don't even need to play Forgotten Trade. We'll play good old Wingmaker. We get a ton of capacity. We could extract, no reason to. Instead, we'll fracture. And we'll just accept that you're gonna make it, and I don't really care. We're getting 400 gold from this. I'm sorry. Maybe I could have killed you if I focused on you, but I want to focus on the floor. We're also healing 64. The other Immortal Trade will also come back around. And Heph is doing 400 damage, which means that these units that have 240 HP, they are dying, which is nice. So, I honestly think this is just a straight up grovel. And then we can Shade Split, Shade Split, Shade Split. Giving you more lifesteal is useful. We don't really need Damage Shield on you. Really, Damage Shield, strangely enough, is better on Heph, so we'll just give those to you, give these to you. The Morsels do 160! The Morsels do 160 damage on their own. Oh my God, maybe we don't need Heph on the floor with the Spine Chief. Spine Chief, Corruptor version, I think it's Corruptor, right? I don't know, I can't look at the name of him. Actually pretty good with the Morsels if you can play the Morsels. Very strange. Okay, so this is going to be a cave-in, but we should play Morsels first, then cave-in. We are going to play, you know what's cool about this? We don't even need to play Ancient Resonance. We're losing 16 HP, and we're getting hit for like 100 damage. We're getting hit for 106 damage. That's awesome. But this is literally free. This is essentially free. This you might as well play. And then we're gonna cave you down so that we have, first of all, +2 capacity every turn. I mean, like, you might as well, right? Give him 1 stack of lifesteal. You might as well, right? What a strange run. I mean, you're absolutely dead. There is absolutely no way in hell that you were gonna make it through this floor. By the way, extract 6. We would lose a lot of damage, but you would lose half of your health. But honestly, because I see a bunch of X's, I'm just gonna press end turn. That's actually more damage for us. Just hit the button. So we have 800 damage with the Hephs. Yeah, if we can get them out, it totally works. I don't want any of these. I don't want any of these. Admittedly, Crucible Extension is tempting. Gem Trove could be playable, but we don't really need it. And the capacity we definitely don't need. We have capacity in hand already, but we have to go spell upgrades. Like, we literally have to, because we have to make Cave In holdover possibly free. But it has to be at least 1, because now we can play it on Heph. Plus 10 magic power. I mean, why not, right? Remove consume. We don't need consume on any of these. Even Forgotten Trade, we don't need the energy at all. Or, put another way, we don't need the energy when we shuffle. And we're definitely just gonna put this on Cave In. Now if we draw this on turn 1 with 1 Heph, we're not screwed, and our entire synergy is complete. Yeah. Spell cost -1. Grovel costing 1 is pretty good. Let's see, plus 10 magic power. Yeah, the Wingmakers being 46 times 2 is quite nice. Spells being cheaper. A playable Insanity is nice, but if we have all of our units on 1 floor, we don't need it, do we? Grovel is slightly better, but at 2 cost, it makes everything else free, which I like. And if we draw this in Ancient Resonance, I don't care about Ancient Resonance that much, do I? But let's make this cost 1, because it is worth playing if we, it is worth playing if we can kill units and save ourselves a little bit of HP. It's not that much worth playing, but it is worth playing. Train Steward, I hate to say it, we don't need you anymore. It was a mistake to upgrade you. The extra energy from perils can be helpful. Proclamation for damage, probably not that useful, but in a pinch, it's okay. We draw a lot of cards. Probably don't need 2 Echo Infusions. 1 is probably enough, because we have 100 damage on our frontline units. As long as they live. Immortal Trades are helping. We can probably get rid of 1 Shade Splitter. I'd like to keep them though, because the morsels are handy. When you play your first morsel, draw 1. When you play your 20th morsel, do 150 damage to all units. When you summon your second unit, gain energy. I like gaining energy by playing 2 minions. It means on turn 1, we'll be able to gain energy immediately, so we can play our entire hand. That being said, drawing on a morsel is really good. Like, I think that is actually maybe what we want. Because if we can get to the frozen cards faster, we'll be happy. All of them. I think we'll take this. Admittedly, energy is not a big problem, but what happens if we get 2 Hephs on the first turn? We gotta play them, right? So yeah, give me Hell's Banners. We can't afford anything else except for card removal. Get rid of the second to last Reap. We're back down to 27 cards, which is nice. You know what, we could have taken the boons and then gone for another relic. How much is removal? 240? Can't afford it? Let's go. All right. You are an annoying Seraph. Your incant and rally effect is annoying. How much do you buff? Rally +3, incant +1. But we just kind of have to play our units regardless of where you are. Luckily, your minions are crap. Like, actually a 0 out of 10. So I think Shadow Eater and Spine Chief might shuffle. I'm trying to think if we want to play Heph on the top floor. We could, but Heph on the middle is really what I'm looking for. Heph on the bottom? I mean, literally it could work, but we would have to play Spine Chief and Shadow Eater down here on this turn and take 45 damage, which is like absolutely awful. So I think Spine Chief and Shadow Eater are gonna sit for a bit. They're not gonna show up quite yet. We're gonna go on the middle floor, I think. We have spells. We have a lot of spells that can do damage to enemies and kill enemies. That should buy us the time we need to get back around. And we have Shade Splitters and we have Immortal Trades, which honestly I might even play right now just to keep Heph alive on the next turn. In fact, you know what? We could do it down here. Play a Heph, give it Immortal Trade. We could go on the, nah, we don't really want to go on the top floor. I mean, I guess, we don't have Cave-In. I think I'm gonna let you hit the Pyre, is what this is boiling down to. Why do you have 31? Rage, okay. Why do you have 25? Oh, right, because you're a slightly buffed unit. You do attack every turn too, unlike the other ones, which is weird. So I'm just thinking about what floor I want to start on, because if we Space Prism here, we can play Shadow Eater and Spine Chief. Heph could be at the top floor, but then the middle floor is not going to get a Heph ever. And we'd have to descend twice to get down here. We have to play Heph on a non-top floor, which means we either play Heph here and then hope that she can stay alive killing the enemies, which is going to be a little scary, or we start here and then next turn maybe get a kill here with a card, a spell, and then it buys us time. And I think we're going to try to buy time. As for Shade Splitters, we'll probably just play it. It does give us an energy refund. On Slay, you deal more damage. I would rather not do that. I'm just gonna put you up here then. Now we draw, I forgot about the draw. And we gain energy. I think we're okay. I mean, in theory, we could play a Shadow Eater here, but then we'd still have to descend multiple times. And the Shadow Eater might just get himself killed. It's really not that bad if he does, but like, he can't kill this unit. No, he actually could kill this unit. So I am gonna play you down here. Anything that buys us time. And you know what? Because you're dying, I'm not gonna play Immortal Trade. I want the energy. Yeah. We take 15 damage on the Pyre. Now our unit is dying. This is kind of the problem with the Seraph. We could just play a Wingmaker, get the capacity to play a Heph immediately, and then we can start caving in from here. I actually think that's a pretty good idea. You're gonna get a little bit stronger, but I'll be able to start building up on one floor at the bottom. I mean, I actually like it. We can even keep the Shadow Eater alive, I think. No, I won't be able to play a Morsel on this turn. I still think it's worth doing. Because it'll be, yeah, 5 capacity exactly. But you're living. You'll still live if I play a Heph. And if I extract to give you more HP, which I cannot do, so let's not worry about it. We should have played Shade Splitter and... No, we had to do it like this, though. There's no other option. Yeah, end turn. I mean, if that unit dies, it's really not that big of a deal. You would prefer it to not die, but like, it is okay if it happens. This is a very good turn though. We can keep everything alive, I think. I can keep you alive with the grovel, so I'm not worried about you at all. Now, I don't know how grovel affects melee weakness. I think the damage shield helps. Like, I think the damage shield will effectively negate the melee weakness. But if we play it down here, we can keep this guy alive. Actually, you know what? We can keep him alive with this. I am kind of curious to see about how that works, but let's play morsels, because if we play morsels, we do get a draw. So I'm going to play a morsel here, health morsel. And then I'm gonna play a grovel here. Now you're taking 64. So the 15 is being blocked, and then you're doing 32 times 2. So the damage shield did not prevent the melee weakness. Now before you ask, or before you answer me and say, hey Abe, you should have known this, or maybe you should have looked it up. I have experienced bugs surrounding melee weakness damage shield in the past. It's happened before. I think there are known issues with this. Just like if you have like a glimmer that kills the units that give if you use a glimmer to kill more than one enemy unit that has a trigger, like the triggers happen in a strange order, like that's another bug that I've noticed in the past. But like there are bugs, is what I'm trying to say. That being said, if we give you a whole bunch of lifesteal, you should be okay. So I am gonna give you a bunch of lifesteal. As long as you live, you'll be good. We don't really need to play anything else, do we? That's not gonna kill you. End turn. You're healing, which is just beautiful. You're probably gonna die when you get hit next turn because of this this boss and his garbage melee weakness. I like this. We are gonna cave in. Heph is healing, but we have to cave in because we do need to like build down here with the Shadow Eater. So what we actually need to do is we need to ensure that the Shadow Eater lives. If we put one tank in front of the Shadow Eater, they will live. So one Shade Splitter will do it. I'd prefer to have two, but you know, one is good enough, right? We might be able to do it by also killing one of you, but let's start here. Because if we cave in and we put a Rubble Morsel on the bottom, and then we play Ancient Resonance, we should be good. Maybe you don't play Immortal Trade because we're only getting 6 healing out of it, which is pretty bad. Actually, we don't need to put something in front if we play Ancient Resonance. So really, we should make sure you gorge with this morsel. We got our Spine Chief back, who is playable and will descend. So Spine Chief, welcome to the show. Let's get an energy buff. Let's descend everyone. Let's Ancient Resonance. Now we're losing 5, which is not that bad. We could kill a unit and save an additional 6. Oh, you know what? Now we play Immortal Trade, because now you have 106 damage. Okay, so now we're in the clear. And Perfect Insanity does nothing. You might as well end turn. Now we're set. Now we're gonna win. Well, actually, the melee weakness and the fact that Seraph attacks every turn is incredibly scary. We're actually taking 8 damage even after everything is said and done on this turn. How crazy is that? This is one of those situations where if we play spells, it might cost us our life because of the fact that the melee weakness might get us killed with his attacks. So this is a turn where we've just got to be insanely careful. What we're gonna do is get a whole bunch of energy, put down, we can't put down a body blocker. We can put them up here and just, you know, stockpile morsels, I guess. We're gonna play this. If we play this, we'll be safe. I would like to play Blazing Bolts, but it's completely unnecessary. Now we're at full HP, which is why it's a 0. That's actually better for us. Grovel is completely unnecessary here, so what I'm gonna do is just, I guess we can grovel and shade split up here and just create morsels that can be descended later. Ideally good morsels like damage, shield, and lifesteal, but with the immortal trade, we really don't care, do we? You might as well play it, right? I mean, maybe it gives him a target so that he can come up here and burn his melee weakness instead of casting it down here where we're gonna freaking die, you know? Anyways. We actually have, funnily enough, we have capacity. Okay. Well. We drew a magma morsel? Pardon? I mean, we just do a lot of damage, you know? Like we just do damage. We're doing 18 damage to the boss on this floor. He's already half dead. And we're still going, huh? Okay, well. I guess if we're still going. Man, what garbage morsels, huh? Let's play a morsel here. I was gonna hope that we could maybe get a better morsel generator, but instead we're just gonna push everything down and gorge a few times. Why are you losing 3? Oh, because of the spikes. That's not a big deal at all, is it? I'll play this. In theory, I could perfect insanity you, but it's not really that good of a play. I mean, now you only have 18 HP and we're not losing any ourselves, so yeah, let's not worry about that. How many? We're gonna gain energy next turn. I actually think we should just like play the immortal trade. Not the frozen one, but the non-frozen one. Because now we can play the frozen one, and I mean, we see an X. If you see the X, you hit end turn. Okay, I mean, Heph is carrying us kind of hard on this run. It's gonna get a little bit trickier here with Divinity, but I actually think we're gonna be in the clear because 100 HP is usually enough to survive any single turn. So I'm pretty certain that Heph will just be able to survive on her own on this floor. I mean, we could even put her down here if we want, just to ice the bottom, but I don't know, where should we put her? We can put her wherever we want. If we put her at the bottom, we can even put a Shade Splitter here. Spine Chief could go in the middle and then, if we get lucky, descend next turn. But I really think that we just need to do the strategy that we were doing previously, which is like middle floor or bottom floor. And because we have her now, I think that we just put her on the bottom floor. She'll take a little bit of damage, but we can Echo Infuse her to give her a little bit more HP. Well, it saves us a little. We're gonna go on the middle floor. I'd like the rage to decay slightly. Uh-huh. And then this will give us energy and card draw. Okay, I mean, fair. We could keep the morsel alive, but there's not really a point. We're not gonna build on the bottom. We're gonna try to build on the middle floor. So I'm just gonna infuse you a bit, and I don't think we can kill any of you, so I'm just gonna do 2 damage. Champion, I'll see you later. In general, usually we can stall. So this seems like a pretty good turn. We're not gonna get Shadow Eater out, but we can get the other Heph out, and Blazing Bolts means Immortal Trade means that she's gonna be fine. But we need to play in a specific order. Blazing Bolts is free, but it means we won't be able to play Heph because we can't get the energy off of the morsel. So what we really do need to do is play Heph, then Shade Splitter. Don't play Blazing Bolts, but then that means we will be able to cave in. And we can keep her alive with an Immortal Trade. We'll be Ember Drain next turn. Actually, we will be Ember Drain next turn, unfortunately, but it's gotta be done, and it's gotta be done like this. You go out. Maybe not on that floor. Well, it doesn't matter. You're all gonna die immediately anyways. Lifesteal is the perfect morsel. We're still gonna play Immortal Trade, but it is the perfect morsel. So this gives us energy. It gives you 3? I thought it only gave you 2 energy. Well, in that case, we'll definitely play a Blazing Bolts, unless we want to play Shadow Eater, which we don't. So just play Blazing Bolts. This is strange, but I think we will play it here. Yeah, we should play it here, actually. It's weird, but I don't think it actually matters where you play it. This is just purging Spell Shield. You do need the heal, and then we do need to cave in. So everything's dying on the middle floor. The lifesteal is gonna keep our Heph alive for basically as long as we need it. Oh, not having the ability to play this kinda blows. Why were we so Ember Drained? We should have had one energy remaining. This always happens, and I'm always confused as to why I have less Ember than I want. Oh, because we played Heph and then we played Immortal Trade on the same turn. So Wingmaker's not doing anything, but we'll hopefully get it next turn. Yeah, this was probably a bit of a mistake. But I don't think it's gonna matter because we do get the hammer again immediately, which does give us some extra capacity on the floor, which we do need. That being said, we should play Grovel first because it makes everything else free, and then we have Immortal, Perfect Insanity. I'd love to be able to kill you, but the Hefts will probably get you close enough that I'm not that worried about it. I wish I could play 1, 2, 3, 4 spells here. I mean, literally maybe I could. Let me think about this. I'd have to play 4 infusions first. So it would be Grovel, Perils. We'd have to draw an infusion card to make it work. I think instead, I think we just start with the Grovel. Let's do this simply. Okay, that gives us some capacity. We can play a couple of morsels. We did draw an infusion card, and you know what? We can actually play Blazing Bolts. We have a Immortal Trade. We can always play if we're wounded. We're not gonna be able to play Perfect Insanity, I don't think, but we could try. No, I don't think we actually literally can. Well, I mean, in that case, let's just do as much damage as we can. We can get more energy. We can at least kill you. And we can't play this on the boss, but that's okay, because we don't need to. Don't play Immortal Trade. I'd like to have full energy next turn. And we can play Immortal Trade on this turn, but at least the frozen one. So we have Spine Chief. They are playable. The Spine Chief being played means that nothing will ever make it through our floors because the Spine Chief will be able to kill everything with the bonus we're getting from his damage. That being said, what we should do is play him on the top floor and descend him later because we'll have the capacity for that. So let's play Shadow Eater at the front. You're my new tank. Spine Chief can go at the top. He'll come back later. We'll be Ember Drain next turn, but we're actually in the clear now, I think. Because once we get Cave In, which is 1 or 2 turns away, like, we're done. So I'm just gonna play this. and this, and this. You definitely want lifesteal. We drew a dead weight, which is not ideal, but at least it does get it out of the way, and then, you know, you're all dead anyways. That's why we're not playing on the top floor, because of the morsels. We have to play on the middle floor. Did we get Caven? We did get Caven. Get out of here. I mean, that just kills everything, but good old Wingmaker gives us capacity. This floor is not really a big problem at all. You sweep, but we have way more than enough HP to survive you. So, yeah, we're just gonna Wingmaker. Can we play 2 units? I can play a Shade Splitter. Let's do this first to see what we get. Okay, we can't play 2 units. In that case, Cave-In we can play next turn. I should have thought about it with the energy costs. We should have just played it, but this is why I froze the card. Let's be honest, this is why we froze the card. And I noticed no Ember Drain on the enemy units, so we can definitely play it. Get out of here. And we have infinite energy on this turn, which is actually just lovely. So let's, it doesn't matter, let's grovel. Let's cave in, get everyone down here. Now all of a sudden, we're doing enough damage to still be doing 300 to the boss. We have 600, 800 damage. Yeah, you with your 9 damage sweep, you're not gonna do anything to me. We do need to keep the Shadow Eater alive. Honestly, an Immortal Trade is probably okay. And I think we will just play it, just to make sure that he's topped up. Next turn, I mean, next turn he's gonna take like 40. That's actually kind of close to death. I'd rather him not be dead. And you sweep, don't you? You sweep for 6. Already played Grovel. We will not be able to keep morsels alive, but the unit who has oh, this is the Ember Drainer. Okay, so next turn we're gonna have no energy regardless, so we really should play Immortal Trade, because next turn we can't play anything. Like, so I understand now why I have a hard time internalizing that Ember Drain happens, because I got no effing idea what's happening on the floor. Do you see this? Everything's purple, there's red spikes because of the spikes, there's a spell shield line on everything. This guy has like a regen effect on him. Like, no wonder I'm always confused as to what the hell's happening, because I can't see a goddamn thing. But that being said, we are definitely going to be playing Immortal Trade. Because if we're gonna have 4 Ember Drain, you might as well have 6, right? All that is for is just giving ourselves more damage on the floor. Oh look, no energy. Who could have possibly seen that coming? So I can understand now. On that turn, you have to make sure that you can sustain yourself on autopilot, because you're not gonna have any input at all. But then I like, why are we still at 1 energy? I played literally nothing last turn. This is another question I have. I should maybe just like pay more attention, but nothing Ember Drained us. Why do I only have 1 energy? You know what? No, okay, I know what happened. We played Immortal Trade, which was 2 Ember Drain, then we got swept, which was 3 Ember Drain, so last turn we had 2 Ember Drain. 3 minus 2 equals 1. So it's not a bug, it's not the game, it's me not internalizing what's actually happening. I have done that now. We're okay. Can I create a morsel? I cannot. So I don't really want to play Perils of Production for more Ember Drain. What I will do though is But we literally can't play, like, anything, huh? I can give you more HP. I can fracture. And I can give you more HP, which takes away quite a lot of damage, but, you know, whatever. Luckily, these units, there's not too many sweepers in this fight. Mostly, it's just annoyances like, you know, the enemy has 8,000 HP. So anyways, we're living. Now we're uber living. Guess we might as well play like a morsel. Play a morsel. Play blazing bolts. There you go. Okay, I mean, good run. Heph, great unit. I'm so glad we took that Shadow Siege earlier. What the heck, that Shadow Eater was just like hanging out in the middle of nowhere. Really helped with the enhanced capacity. And you know what, honestly, I understand now why maybe the Architect is a very good version of the Hellhorn Champion. Which one is it? Yeah, okay, yeah, Heph, good old Wingmaker. Blazing bolts, this guy. Can I like have a second, please? I'm trying to do something, game. Yeah, summon +4 capacity. If you play him on the middle, that means the middle floor has 5 capacity for other things, on top of a penumbra that's a 140. Now on its own, it's not amazing, but you know, I can see how good that is now. As for the Glutton, you know, it's kind of hard to gorge a lot. On the top floor of Divinity, it's almost impossible, and if you play him in the middle, he's still gonna be taking a lot of damage. On turn 1, he's taking 16, maybe 18, I think 16. So he's not dying in the middle floor, but he's not doing anything, and on the bottom floor, he's dead on the first turn anyway, so this guy is kind of hard to play, isn't he? But the Architect is nice. Play him on the middle, put a tank in front, gorge, you know, a damage shield minion or a lifesteal minion probably was more ideal, and then all of a sudden you have a tank for Penumbra, but Penumbra still doesn't do that much damage, you know, considering the health of the enemies moving up. What did we have? We had Spine Chief. I liked it. Plus 20 attack per crystal, pretty decent. And we actually win streaked? What? Heph. Heph, good unit. Just, you know, make sure that you can actually play him. Critical moments on this run. First of all, multi-strike on Heph with trample. But the Hephs with resolve means that you can play them with morsel eaters and generators, and you can still play those morsels for value. In reality, though, even if we had no morsel generation at all in the run, we probably would have been okay because of the immortal trades. And getting one of them permafrosted is nice, but it just meant that 100 HP is enough to sustain you over a few turns until you draw a mortal trade again. And then at that point, with Spine Chief, you know, doubling the damage of a Heph, with 2 of them, that's 800 damage alone, which is probably enough to kill bosses before they kill you, even if you have no lifesteal, but you have 2 immortal trades in the deck. So you could easily do Heph, immortal trade, cave in, Spine Chief, and if that was your whole deck, you would win. You would need... That's my cup sliding on the desk. I don't know why it's making that noise. You would win with the need for nothing else, because you could just immortal trade every turn for infinite healing, and the cave-in is just to make sure that the Heph stays on the floor. I mean, if you have, you know, 2 Shade Splitters, you could infuse for the Spine Chief, cave in the Shade Splitters so that you could actually play them on your turn, and then, you know, at least have your Shade Splitters give you the charged echoes, if nothing else. You'd have to make the cave-in free, but... because you'd be Ember Drain thanks to the immortal trades, but it would work. Or Perils of Production would work too. It would work. But yeah, Heph, great unit. Putting the Shadow Siege in is a bit of a risk, but we made it work with the resolve effect of Heph. And Space Prism being intrinsic means that the middle floor can have 5 capacity. it means we can start on the middle, which means that we can... it's the perfect middle ground when you're playing the Umbra, where you can't play on the top because of the sweep killing your morsels, and you can't really play on the bottom because of the fact that the enemies are so strong on the bottom, and you need time to kill them. Anyways, that was honestly a pretty fun run, and good old Wingmaker is a really damn good spell. This Heph event is amazing. Anyways, for those of you on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more. Check me out on Twitch for when I go live, support me on Twitch, or at any of the links below in the video description. And I hope to see you here again for the next run of Monster Train.